Once, in a quiet village, there lived a wise old teacher. One day, he walked into his classroom, carrying a large, empty glass jar. His students, curious as ever, watched him closely, wondering what lesson he had in store for them that day. The teacher placed the jar on his desk, and without saying a word, began to fill it with large rocks. He filled it to the very top, then turned to his students and asked, "Is the jar full?" The students, seeing the jar packed with rocks, nodded in agreement. "Yes, it's full," they replied. The teacher smiled and reached under his desk, pulling out a small bag of pebbles. He poured the pebbles into the jar, shaking it slightly so they filled the spaces between the rocks. "Again?" he asked. "Now is the jar full?" The students looked at the jar, now with pebbles nestled between the rocks, and nodded. "Yes, it's full." Without a word, the teacher then took a small container of sand and began to pour it into the jar. The sand sifted down, filling the tiny gaps between the pebbles. When he was done, he asked once more, "Is the jar full now?" The students, now more thoughtful, hesitated before replying, "Yes, now it's full." But the teacher wasn't finished. He took a jug of water and poured it into the jar. The water seeped into the sand, filling every last space in the jar. Smiling, the teacher asked, "Now, is the jar truly full?" The students, seeing the jar overflowing with water, finally agreed that it was indeed full. The teacher looked at them, his eyes filled with wisdom. "This jar," he began, "represents your life. The rocks are the most important things, your family, your health, your passions. If you lost everything else, your life would still be full of these." He continued, "The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your home, your friendships. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand in first, there's no room for the rocks or the pebbles." The room was silent as the students absorbed the lesson. The teacher's voice softened as he delivered his final words. "Remember to put the big rocks in first. Prioritize what truly matters in your life, and the rest will find its place." And with that, the students left the classroom, each one carrying with them the profound lesson of the empty jar, now full of meaning. Remember, fill your life with the big rocks first, your values, passions, and relationships. By focusing on what truly matters, everything else will find its way into your life.